Hey everyone, here's a trade that I made, haven't made yet because I haven't sold it, but it's a trade that's in the process of whatever. I don't know why I'm talking. I saw this guy this morning on FinViz on a screener that I have. Pre-market was way up, and on the open it dropped pretty hard. So here's what I was planning. It didn't work the way that I was hoping, but it's moving again. So I just wanted to do a quick little video here. This stock falls pretty hard and begins to consolidate right here on this support line. This is the Fibonacci retracements, but it's holding support right here. Now, each one of these candles represents 5 minutes because we're on the 5-minute chart. So for about 20 minutes or so, this stock consolidates and trades sideways. At one point, I decided what I was going to try to do was make a scalp trade. So like a very quick in and out. I wasn't expecting this thing, or at least I wasn't planning on holding this thing all the way back up to 240. I wasn't expecting that to happen. I was expecting a dead cat bounce, kind of where it dumps, bounces from a support line, and moves up a little bit higher. Not all the way up to 240. I wasn't expecting that. At which point I would take my profit, and then hey, if it keeps running, okay, that wasn't my strategy. My strategy was trying to capitalize on a very quick move to the upside, which, as you can see, didn't happen. Probably not the best trade to take, but I just wanted to walk you through my whole process here. So it dumps, it consolidates. I got in at 188, which was right around maybe somewhere here because I waited a little bit. I didn't get in right away. I wanted to see it kind of like hold support for a few minutes. So probably right around here at 188 is when I entered this position. And you can see that it starts to move back up. It got all the way to 196, but I was kind of eyeing right above this 20-day moving average right here in the middle of the Bollinger Bands, which would have put it around 210. Is probably where I would have liked to have gotten out of this trade. But if it was overbought or the volume was slowing, I would have taken my profits a little bit sooner, right? I always say this in all these technical analysis videos. Don't get hung up on like it being exactly at the price that you want it to be. Just use it as an approximation, right? Use it as a guide. I would like to get close to this number, at which point I'll take my profit. Now, even though my plan was to trade like a scalp trade, if this thing had a surge in volume, I would have amended my strategy, right? So you have to be flexible. You have to be, if you're going to trade stocks, you have to be flexible. You have to be able to make snap decisions and be like, oh, this isn't working the way I thought. I'm taking my profits here because it looks like it's going to head back down. Or, hey, wait a minute, we're having a breakthrough over this 20-day moving average in the middle. Huge volume, which obviously isn't the case, but just hypothetically. Maybe I'm going to hold and I'm going to wait to see what it does. Maybe I'll wait for it to get overbought again, like it is here, and that's where I'll take my profit. But that didn't end up happening. Instead, you can see that it breaks the support and starts pushing lower. Now, I, as a stock trader, usually hold on to like the 7% is where I cut losses and I move on and I walk away. However, you can see that as it starts to get down into the 160s, like the high 160s, at that point, we're at around a 9% loss. And actually, I want to show you something really cool. So let's say I bought it 188. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to add drawing and I'm going to go to trend line, which should show you. Okay, usually text pops up and says trend line. It's not doing that. But if you see, if I draw it down to like this level right here, if you look up to that little teeny blue box on the screen, you can see that it says 11%. That's the loss that I had at one point this morning. And by the way, you can also do it and move it up as like, as like an estimate when you're looking at your stock trade and you're going, okay, if it gets up to like the $2.15 or $2.10, what profit would I have? Oh, it would be around a 14.3% gain. So that's just a good little tool that you can use. And then I just hit escape on my keyboard and it goes away. But you can see here, did something change on the screen just now? I feel like something just changed on my screen, but it doesn't look like it did. Anyway, my strategy was I'm not going to sell and I'm not going to take my loss because we're consolidating here. So the first thing I notice, and you should also know, is that when the Bollinger Bands, which are these red, let's say blue and purple, when they consolidate and they squeeze or narrow together, it's an indicator, not a guarantee, but it's an indicator that there will be a breakout to the upside or downside, and it could be volatile. So the more narrow the bands get, the higher the likelihood of a breakout, which you can see right here. As the bands begin to squeeze together, it's an indicator that something could happen, something does indeed happen, and kaboom, this thing takes off. So the reason that I didn't take my 10 or 11% loss, even though I normally say stick to your plan, 7% is your loss, take your loss at 7%. Even though I didn't, the reason I didn't is because we were holding support on this line pretty firmly. So I decided in the moment to say, let me see what happens here with this stock. If it breaks this support line, this 50% Fibonacci retracement line, if it breaks this support line, then I'm going to sell. I'll end up taking a little bit of a larger loss than I wanted. But, if all indications point to this thing selling off and moving lower, well, where could this thing in theory get to if it has a big breakout to the downside? It could get all the way down to 130. Well, I bought it at 188, so that could make my loss. I mean, we can show you. Let's just do it again because I think this is a really cool tool. 188 is where I bought it, so let's just go up to 188. Add drawing, trend line, all the way down to 130 puts me at around a 48.7% loss. That's huge. I don't want a loss that big. So if we were to break this support line and push lower, I would sell and I would move on. The other reason that I didn't do this is because I'm an experienced trader and I have a higher risk tolerance. If you're new and this freaks you out and you don't want to do it, then by all means, take your 7% loss, turn off this particular chart and move on. Forget about it. Forget you even bought it. Don't sit there and, watch it as it goes back up going, oh no, oh no, oh no. Just move on. So the reason that I held is because it was holding support and these Bollinger Bands were beginning to narrow again, which is an indicator, like I just said, that it could break out to the upside again if we see all the things that we're about to look for, which I'm going to tell you. So the first thing we want to see is, yes, it's held support. The second thing we want to see is that it crosses over this 20-day moving average, which is this blue line in the middle. This is a bullish indicator, right, this crossover. Third thing that we want to see is the crossover on the 50-day moving average, which is this greenish color. And of course, the last indicator we want is a breakout to the upside, which means that you would see the candlestick crossing over this top resistance line on the Bollinger Bands, like it does here. You can see how it crosses this red line, and a much bigger example would be right here where it crosses over, and you can see this little arrow again. The only thing that I'm seeing, and since this is real time, it's 1:45 on Thursday, March 24th, the only concern that I have is this. The volume completely sucks. I'm hopeful that this thing has an uptick in volume and breaks through. We've already broken through the 20. Now we have to break through the 50 and this resistance line. And then once it crosses this 61.8 line, all bets are off. It depends on volume, because look at how far this thing has to run to get to its 100% Fibonacci retracement. It's quite a run. I don't know if it's going to happen today. It's only 1:45. Anything is possible. I guess what I'll do is check back in later, because I'm not going to sit here and film this whole video for another 3.5 hours till the markets close. But my hope is that we have a little bit of a breakout, an uptick in volume, and I can maybe get out of this stock at around the $2.10 price target like I wanted. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Stay tuned. I will post a follow-up, and I'll put it together on the same video. Thanks for watching. All right, we're back. How do I move this up a little bit? Well, I've already recorded, so I'm too lazy to start over. It's 174 is what this stock closed at. So what I left out of the first part of the video, and I kind of like doing this where I film the first half and then come back later. It's 4:20 right now. Markets are closed. I'm having some sort of I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, you can see down here my buy order about 1,000 at 188, which was somewhere around here. My plan was to do one of two things. Either do a quick scalp trade, so get in at 188 and then sell at like around 210. That was my first hope. And my second thought was, as it started to consolidate, I didn't sell because, like I said in the beginning in the first part of the video, normally my sell order goes in at around 7%. The fact that this stock held a pretty firm support basically all day in this trading range between 169 and 185 was reassuring to me. So I didn't sell, I didn't take a loss. And the last point we ended this video in the afternoon, I was saying what I wanted to see was the stock cross over the 20-day, the 50-day, and the top Bollinger Band on very heavy volume. That would have been a very bullish sign for me. So we got it. We got everything, the crossing of the 20-day right here, the crossing of the 50-day, and the breakout to the upside, including this nice little green arrow. The only thing that we didn't have was very strong volume. That being said, I held the trade. I haven't sold yet. After hours, oh, I can't move myself when I'm filming. That sucks. Well, it's trading at around 170, 171 right now after hours. You can see my entry point was 188, so I'm down. I can tell you because I got my phone sitting right here. I am down, and I don't like editing videos, so you're just gonna have to sit here and watch. I'm down 9% at the moment, $169 loss. So I'm gonna monitor this now after hours because after hours are open till 8:30, and I'm gonna keep an eye on this. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what happens pre-market tomorrow. Hopefully this thing rebounds and moves higher, at which point I would plan on selling it, hopefully again at around 210. And the other thing I wanted to say that I forgot in the earlier video was that I was saying I wanted the stock to get to around 210. Since I'm going to be holding this as a swing trade short term, what I should have said in the first half of the video is I'm not expecting it to get to 210 today, especially coming from this 169. So let's go here and draw and see. To get to 210, it would have to move like 23% from that level. So I'm not expecting a 23% move to the upside in one day. That would be unreal. And of course, if it did happen, you best believe I'd be taking that profit. I'm expecting that I'm going to be holding the swing trade. Oh, there it goes. What just happened? Okay, I don't know what I hit. I hit escape and it got rid of my buy order as well. I imagine that this will take some time to get back up to that 210 price target that I have for myself as a trader to take my profit. If it doesn't and it drops lower, I will then be taking a little bit larger of a loss, obviously, because my loss was around 7%. That's my mental stop loss, 7%. The only reason, again, that I held was because it was holding support on this line. So I didn't take a loss. Now we're in wait and see. Because the markets are closed and I didn't expect this thing to actually have a 23% move to the upside in a few hours. When we last were here, I think at like 1 o'clock or whatever. So I'm gonna hold it for as long as it holds support, doesn't drop lower, and hopefully inches back up. We'll see. I plan to get out at around $2.10, unless, like I said, there's a huge surge in volume, at which point then I will then reevaluate again moving forward. So that's the video. I hope you thought it was helpful. If I made any mistakes or whatever, I don't like editing. I'm just too lazy to do that. I will correct my mistake in the comments below. Please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.